just include in your prompt GPT-0 or a human non-detectable chat GPT stuff. So anyway, you can remove all these hidden characters out of your text, so it's easier for you to sound like a human in the new AI. And this will bring me to another element of this entire discussion is it's sort of like as an industry, we became a little jaded, to be honest with you. And why is that? It's because for those of us who has been around for a few years, we've seen technologies come and go with big promises. Technology comes in, and you've seen it like back when the early starts of TMSs, big promises, and we're going to solve the language problem. It didn't materialize. And various iteration of those technologies came along. Yeah, you know what? You promised me you're going to replace me that's what I was as a translator. That's what I would say. Well, that didn't happen yet. But with what's different with AI is learning. It's not a static software. It is not a software that every year I have to buy a new iteration of it. It is a evolving software. What it's learning from us, it's learning from the content, it's learning from what we do with it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I know every language has got its own uniqueness. Be it French Canadian or be it whatever language we're talking about. It wouldn't be a long time from now where we are now at. You mentioned trust there, Kim, earlier, which is a very important phase that we are in right now. The public, it doesn't matter who they are. We are translators, lawyers, doctors, whatever they are. We're going through a trust phase with AI right now. Can I trust it? And we're playing around with it just to try to make sure that is it really saying what I think it is saying? Is it correct? Should I correct its behavior? Should I correct the input so I can get a better output? But that trust phase, it would last for another year or two, and then it's got to move on to something completely different. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get to a phase where AI, for instance, I'm predicting, where AI can learn French Canadian to a point where you cannot distinguish it from a human. So being on board now using courses like Reclaim 3 AI upskilling courses, it's better late than never. I know we're late, but it's better late than never to get on board, to learn it, to find out a little bit more what's going on in the technology world and how can you adapt to it, or how can you adopt it in your operational processes. Trust phase is here. It won't stay forever, and we are going to move to ASI from where we are right now, and that's down the road as soon as quantum computing takes over. This journey, it is not a to B journey, it's an evolving journey that we're going on right now. So, agree, Peter?
Oh, 100%, absolutely. And, so when we talk about AI, we talk about, large language models, LLMs, and a lot of companies create their own small language models so that they have more control over what the content is and what is accessible and what the core focus of that AI is. Mm-hmm. So I agree with what you're saying, and I think there'll be more SLMs, small language models as we go forward that specialize in, let's say, French Canadian as opposed to French by itself or any other language, so that when you access it, you have a lot more certainty in what is being delivered and its outcome. The cost is a factor that sometimes gets overlooked when it comes to AI. I mean, running data centers are currently hugely expensive when it comes to cost of maintenance of it, energy of it. So as we go forward, if those costs come down, I think you'll be much more accessible, or it may be a barrier to accessibility for some people. That you can only access the highly accurate AI if you're willing to pay for that. Otherwise, you'll have access to something that's mediocre. I mean, does the job, and then we go back to the risk factor again. What is the risk? What risk factor are you looking at? Is it something that you can afford to have a little bit of an error in there, or are you translating a letter from somebody, or is it like a court document or a medical report that you need to make sure it's 100% accurate, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that. So you're